picture this. You're staring out into the infinite, pitch-black void of space. Most of the time, it's just quiet static, a bunch of cosmic whispers from dead stars and ancient galaxies. But then, for one fleeting, solitary moment, the universe literally screamed. A moment so genuinely shocking that it was captured forever with just a single word written in red ink.
Okay, let's dive into this. Today, we're unpacking an explainer on one of the highest-stakes detective stories in the entire history of deep space mysteries. We're looking at a true cosmic cold case, the WOW signal. If you're fascinated by SETI history, that's the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, and you absolutely love getting lost in unsolved cosmic puzzles, well, you're in the exact right place. We're going to look closely at the evidence, the wild theories, and the sheer impossibility of what actually happened on that summer night.
Section 1. The red ink anomaly. Let's look at the inciting incident. I really want you to place yourself exactly in August of 1977. For years prior to this exact moment, the massive Big Ear radio telescope at Ohio State University had just been continuously sweeping the skies. And when I say massive, I mean picture an absolute behemoth of engineering. It's a sprawling football field-sized grid of metal wire and reflectors acting as this giant silent listener. It patiently scanned the cosmos day in and day out, completely dwarfing the humans who operated it. But then, something highly unusual actually occurs. An eerie anomaly is captured by the massive antenna. Moments later, an astronomer named Jerry Ehman sits down to review the dense columns of the computer printout. Just a solitary guy sifting through the data of this giant machine, right? He's looking through reams and reams of paper, scanning for absolutely anything out of the ordinary in that endless stream of normal background numbers.
And then he sees it, right there on the printout. A vertical alphanumerical column completely shatters the pattern of normal background noise. The letters and numbers spike so dramatically, indicating an incredibly strong burst of radio waves. It was so startling, so profoundly out of place, that he physically grabs a red pen, violently circles the anomaly, and frantically writes the word "wow" right next to it in the margin. With that single stroke of red ink, a mystery that would baffle the greatest minds in science for decades was cemented into history. Let's move to part 2 and see how this builds. Anatomy of the signal. 72. That is exactly how long this signal lasted. Just 72 seconds. In the grand timeline of the universe, it was incredibly fleeting. But in the world of radio astronomy, it meant absolutely everything. You see, 72 seconds was the exact amount of time it took for a cosmic source to sweep across the Big Ear telescope's observation window as the Earth rotated. Since the telescope was fixed to the ground, as the planet turned, a point in space would enter its field of view, hit peak intensity, and slowly fade out. That whole process takes exactly 72 seconds. So it was a remarkably specific, brief, and intense burst of energy that appeared, peaked, and disappeared precisely as an authentic deep space signal should. But honestly, the duration isn't even the most compelling part. The energy really builds when we look at the precise frequency. 1420 megahertz. This wasn't just some random number on a dial. It was a frequency that literally made every single astronomer's heart skip a beat. And this brilliantly illustrates why this event is so famous in SETI history. 142 megahertz is what physicists and astronomers call the hydrogen line. You see, hydrogen is by far the most abundant element in the entire universe. It's the fundamental building block of stars and galaxies. Scientists have long theorized that if an intelligent extraterrestrial civilization were trying to reach out across the cosmos, they wouldn't just randomly guess a radio station, right? They would broadcast on this exact frequency. Why? Because any civilization advanced enough to build a radio telescope would universally know about hydrogen. It acts as a universal radio frequency for interstellar communication. It's kind of like the cosmic water cooler, a frequency any advanced spacefaring civilization would naturally be tuned into. Now, what's really interesting about this is when you compare your normal, everyday background cosmic noise, the standard space static that the telescope heard 99.9% of the time, to the WOW signal, this wasn't just a slight bump in the data. The sheer intensity of this unique blip was completely off the charts. The alphanumeric code Jerry Ehman circled went all the way up to U, which represents a signal intensity 30 times greater than the background radiation. It was a loud, undeniable, and extremely powerful spike that totally dwarfed everything around it. It was exactly, and I mean exactly, what you would expect a deliberate beacon from the stars to look like.
Section 3. Ruling out the usual suspects. Let's interrogate our earthly explanations.
So we've got this incredibly strong signal on the exact frequency an alien civilization would use. But as scientists, we have to be rigorous, right? We can't just jump to the biggest conclusion in human history without doing our due diligence. We've got to start interrogating our earthly suspects. Put our detective hats on for a second. Could it be a secret military satellite? A rogue experiment? Well, when we map the unique characteristics of the WOW signal against these known earthly sources, there is a massive disconnect. The properties simply do not match standard terrestrial interference. Investigators painstakingly went through the checklist to systematically debunk these theories one by one. Satellites? Ruled out. The signal wasn't moving like an Earth-orbiting object at all. Military secret tech? Also ruled out. The frequency 1420 megahertz is strictly protected globally for astronomical research. Nobody on Earth is legally or practically broadcasting on it. What about comets passing by? Well, that theory was tested heavily, but it was ruled out too. Comets just simply do not emit a signal like this in such a narrow, stationary, and powerful burst. Every single earthly theory systematically fell apart. Section 4. The ultimate cosmic cold case. Total cosmic isolation.
When you eliminate all the impossible earthly explanations, whatever remains, no matter how incredible, has to be the truth, or at least the prevailing mystery. And this brings us to a place of profound, almost unsettling cosmic isolation. Because despite decades of astronomers pointing the absolute most advanced, sensitive radio telescopes in the world back at that exact same spot in the sky, listening for days, months, and years, the signal never repeated. Let that chilling fact sink in for a moment. Total, absolute cosmic silence. So, the crucial point is, we are left with a massive, unresolved puzzle that still completely haunts the scientific community today. Is the WOW signal the only confirmed technological signature we have ever received from an extraterrestrial civilization? Or is it an impossible, entirely unknown natural space anomaly that somehow tricked our best equipment? So what do you think? Because after all these years, that red ink on Jerry Ehman's printout is still screaming at us, demanding an answer. And until we find one, we're definitely going to keep looking up.